بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. The author says the greatness and nature of the prayer is because it is a pillar of Islam. According to Allah, no one is exempt from it in any state, whether it be sickness or anything else. The only exception is the loss of one's intellect, due to some sickness in which the intellect is removed temporarily or permanently. The state of loss of intellect removes the obligation of the prayer absolutely. Or, the author says, if one is unable to gesture with their head. If one has intellect but is impaired from any movement of the head, one's inability to move the head removes the obligation of the prayer according to us. The author then says, one is to do what is in one's ability. If one is unable to prostrate, but is able to stand and sit, one sits in its place, that is, in the place of prostration, and makes a head motion to resemble prostration, and one observes the rest of the prayer with the standings and sittings as normal. If one is unable to bow, but is able to prostrate, stand, and sit, one makes a head motion to resemble bowing in a standing position. When it is time to bow, such person observes the standings, sittings, and prostrations at their times. In most cases, the one unable to bow is similarly unable to prostrate, so such person would gesture the prostrations from the sitting position. The author continues by saying if one is unable to stand, but is able to sit, bow, and prostrate, one sits in its place, that is, in the place of standing. However, the author says, one must bend lower at the time of prostration. Although there is no disagreement concerning the method of sitting during the testimony of faith and between the two prostrations, there is disagreement amongst the imams concerning the method of sitting during the recitation and bowing. The preferred opinion is that one is to sit cross-legged with one's hands on the knees during the recitation and bowing. The author continues by saying, if one is not able to do any of the above, one does the above while lying down, provided, that is, that one is able to gesture with the head. However, if one is unable to gesture with the head, one is exempted from the prayer, as we previously mentioned. The author continues by saying one must complete the ritual ablution even if it is performed by someone else. That is to say, that even if one is in an impaired state, such one is not exempted from ritual purity, whether ritual ablution or tayammum. It is only permissible for a non-marriageable person to wash the private parts of an impaired person, specifically one's spouse in the case of a woman and spouses in the case of a man. If one is without a spouse or unable to marry, one may have someone of the same sex to perform the ritual washing. However, such person is to refrain from looking at the genitals of the impaired person, and such person must use some sort of barrier to prevent touching the genitals with the bare hand.